Oh, excuse me. Oh, still getting recuperated from our district's weekend this past weekend. Today I'm going to spend some time just giving you a little bit of a recap. I'll be honest, I haven't even had the time yet to watch Rick's sermon from Sunday. I know it was on an important passage for sure. Hopefully you were there or watching online. But today I just want to talk about districts, give you, again, an update. We had, as you can imagine, a great, meaningful, moving time as a youth group and really as a district, as the students from all over got together and their youth leaders and volunteers. And this year's theme was the journey. And it was just a picture of journeying with Jesus. Our two speakers were Ben Knox, who's a youth pastor at Black Hawk Church in Madison, one of our sister churches in our district, and then Kempton Turner, who's a longtime pastor. He's now a senior pastor down in East St. Louis, Illinois, also at a free church down there. And so those two guys worked out together to give us the weekend. Let me just give you some of the highlights, whether it be the conversations that were had. But as you can imagine, there's a lot of energy in a room like that. 250 people, I think, in one room together. You know, many of them students, other youth leaders, volunteers. It's just a special time of fun, of learning together, and then a worship. One thing I took away from Ben's teaching was a memento, actually, that all of us got, a coin that covers a little bit of what he talked about throughout his time together. And I want to just take a second to show you that coin and help you see what we learned from Ben. You'll see on this side of the coin is our theme for the weekend, which was the journey, for journeying with Jesus. And the other side is that pair of oxen that are yoked together. As we follow Jesus, we don't have to be the strong one because he is the one working in and leading us. Some of the main sessions that we talked about were coming out of Isaiah 6. Kempton actually was the one who taught on those passages. And let me just read that to you a little bit and kind of summarize some of the main things that he talked about. It's a familiar passage likely for you, but Isaiah 6 says, "In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord, high and exalted, seated on a throne, and the train of his robe filled the temple. Above him were seraphim, each with 6 wings. With 2 wings they covered their faces, with 2 they covered their feet, and with 2 they were flying. And they were calling to one another, 'Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. The whole earth is full of his glory.' At the sound of their voices, the doorposts and the thresholds shook, and the temple was filled with smoke." Listen to the response then of Isaiah when he recognizes all this. He says, "Woe to me! I am ruined, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips, and my eyes have seen the King, the Lord Almighty." So the response that Isaiah has as he recognizes what he is in the presence of Jesus, in the presence of these seraphim, these angels, he recognizes his state. And Kempton hit us hard with, do you recognize your state before a holy and perfect God? Our response would be like Isaiah's. Woe is me. I'm a man of unclean lips, a man with an unclean heart. And he took us through the power of that. He took us through the majesty of Jesus, again, seated on the throne, how he is holy. But then he also took us through what happens next, verse 6. "Then one of the seraphim flew to me with a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with tongs from the altar. With it he touched my mouth and said, 'See, this has touched your lips. Your guilt is taken away, and your sin atoned for.'" God's mercy forgives us, knowing what he knows about us, and yet he forgives us. And then I'll fast forward a little bit to our final message with Kempton on Sunday. We just looked at really the one concluding verse there, verse 8. Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send? And who will go for us? And he said, and Isaiah said, here am I, send me. Our students, after a weekend of time together, a weekend of growing in the Lord, a weekend filled with amazing worship. I have to acknowledge Saturday night being in that room with 4,000 plus people worshiping the Lord together. It was a special, one of a handful of times in my lifetime moment that I was just filled with hope and filled with joy for what the Lord is doing. And I hope you can experience something like that, even just thinking about that, the great hope and joy that might bring to you, to know that young people and leaders are united in their worship of this amazing God. But then Kempton sent us out, didn't he? At the end here, it's like God sent Isaiah, that we all are sent into the places that God has placed us. How about you? Who is God sending you to? If you are a follower of His, who is God sending you to minister to share the good news of Jesus with? Let me just tell you, it's going to be worth it. Thanks for all your support of our students, of the leaders who go. We can't do it without your support. Thank you for your prayers. It was just an awesome weekend, and I'm so grateful and tired that I could be a part of it. Thanks.